Hello, everyone. Welcome to this lunch talk. In today's talk, let's talk about how we're going to write a data engineer resume for a job application. Okay. Because in our school we have many students, so we can see some students, they have a good resume, so they have a better chance to get an interview. But some students, their background is pretty good, and they work very hard, and their grade is pretty good, but they don't have many chance to get interview. So from this year's experience, I can see there is some tips or experience for the resume writing. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to write a good resume. So let's review a JD. Okay. First of all, I just randomly found a data engineer position from the LinkedIn. So first of all, this is a company that are recruiting a data engineer, and their role is remote role. Okay, so they are going to report senior development manager. Okay, so which means this data engineer is okay because they have a minimized 3 years experience. So which means this not too much. 3 years experience, which means they only require a medium level data engineer. So as long as you can finish your data engineer studying, and if you can finish a couple of projects, both including your portfolio projects, I think you have the possibility to apply or even get interview for this position. Okay. Let's talk about the important thing in this description. So they are going to require SQL, Python, Spark, Terraform, blah blah blah. So all the type of things. You can see all this one. Each one is a skill. Right? So maybe it's first of all, when you see this when you see this job description, it's unnecessary you have all of them. Okay, let's say Terraform. If you don't have Terraform experience, it's okay. You still can apply for this. Okay, but you need to know, when you're applying for this, you need to know, at least you need to know what Terraform is, right? You need to go to YouTube to search for Terraform to have some idea of Terraform. Okay, and make sure, so before you are having interview of this position, make sure you at least understand what this means. Okay, then let's talk about so for this, so when you're writing an interview, writing a resume, try to, make your resume closer to their job description. So when you are writing a resume, you need to have a resume template, which means you need to list all your job experience, list all your projects, and so on. I try to include all the keywords, and then for each interview, try to adjust, let's make another copy of your resume and make some adjustment. Try to make this resume match their application, match their job description. Okay, match this application, and then save this version of resume into a place and link that into this application to make sure next time, because you are going to apply for hundreds of jobs, right? So when you got the interview, you even don't know, so what is my resume, and what's my words I'm using for this resume, right? So try to keep this and link that to this job. So next time when you receive an interview from this company, you can find your resume quickly for that version and to read your resume to make sure this is the resume you are going to talk about in your interview. Okay. Then after reviewing this job description, let's take a look at the second question. Sorry. Let's take a second question. So how a hiring manager read a resume? So let's say for this job, when you are a hiring manager, so when you apply for a job, when you are a hiring manager, when you get a resume, you will only have a few seconds to read your resume, because let's say for this job, each day the hiring manager or HR will get at least 100 resume from different people. Okay, so you only have a few seconds to read this. So think about this. So if you are a hiring manager, how are you going to quickly understand to know if this person is the right person for your position, or at least there is a good possibility this person have a right person, have the right fit for your position. So this will raise one thing, which is keyword. Okay, so keywords, you can see Python, SQL, Spark, Terraform, all the skills are keyword. So let me see. Let's say if I'm a hiring manager, when I got an interview, you see this is the interview sample. You can see our rates. SQL, Python, PySpark. Okay, so what do I have? Terraform. Do you have a Terraform? No, you don't have Terraform. And so I'm also requiring AWS cloud-based Glue, Redshift, Lambda. And do you have Redshift, Glue, Lambda? So you have Lambda, you don't have Redshift. So I will roughly to go through your resume quickly and know if you have a large part of a skill match or expectation, or you are not, or scope of our expectation. Okay, so make sure you try to include the keywords as much as possible. So the keywords can be included into the direct place software skills. You can list all your list, and also you need to put all your keywords, try to include all your keywords into your experience and into your projects. Okay, so let's say I have a keyword in Kafka, okay, in the software skills, but as a hiring manager, I don't see any Kafka things in your experience and in your projects. This means your Apache Kafka things is not the main work you did in your previous work. So I won't take this seriously. Okay, but if you mentioned several times about Python, PySpark, I found many places about your PySpark. I will see, okay, so this guy use PySpark in his job. Okay, so this is about keywords. So, and regarding the resume, what is the structure of the resume? Okay, let's talk about this. First of all, I need to mention that some people think, I have to keep, make this simple, keep into one page. It's unnecessary to do like that. And also I would say, if you only keep everything in one page, you have nothing. Okay, so from, I was hiring manager previously a couple of times. So when I got a one-page resume, I can see nothing because everything is in brief, and they save a lot of words only and puts that into, let's say, into just one one line of description. Only one line description cannot give a full view of your previous job. Okay, so try to write your experience as detailed as possible. Okay, even let's say I have a friend who is a contract. He's a he work always like a contract. He doesn't join a company be a full time. Okay, so he has 27 pages for his resume because he joined 21 companies as a contract. So he lists all his 21 company experience on the page. So totally he have 27 pages. So even like this, he got a very high get a very high chance to get interview and get the position. So which means the number of pages is not important factor. The keywords on your resume is an important factor, actually. So try to list all your experience in detail as much as possible. Okay, let's say for the structure, for your talk about structure. First of all, your name, right? So, and what's your current job title, and what's your address, and so on, your information. So for the first part is software, your skills. Actually, you unnecessary to list only the skills you know very well. You can list all the skills of software you just know. Okay, I mentioned that previously. Maybe you don't use this skill in your projects, but at least you show the hiring manager, I know this. Even let's say Terraform. I don't have experience to use Terraform, but I know what Terraform is for, and what Terraform, how can we work with Terraform. So in this way, at least in the interview, when the hiring manager asks you, so what's your how do you know Terraform? At least you can tell him, I don't use Terraform in my experience, but I don't know how to use Terraform. At least you give the hiring manager an impression that I know this, and also it give a plus in your resume that you know one more skill. Okay, so first of all, skills, and also maybe you can put that into categories. Let's say coding program, Python, Java, SQL, blah blah, and let's say analytical engineer, let's say data warehouse in data modeling. It's unnecessary to be physical software. You can put all the skills, like even soft skills here. Let's say data modeling and pipeline, architecture and so on. So you can put into categories. The second part, I'm not suggesting you put education at the very beginning parts, because from a hiring manager point of view, if you put education at the very beginning, which means you are just a new graduate. Okay, so because if you have many experience from recent to previous, as of course you will put your work experience at the beginning, right? If you put education at the very beginning, I will feel, well, these people maybe have a less experience, so that he will put his education at the beginning. This is only my opinion, right? So different people have a different idea about this, but my suggestion is, put at the bottom. Okay, so education. So education and so your skills, Then let's start from professional experience. Let's say data engineer. Okay, so data engineer, and what's your company, and if you work for some projects, you can list your projects here. There are two ways to work on this. So some people, they already have, let's say some people, they have some experience in a company. Even their title is not data engineer, maybe they are a data analyst, but they participate into several projects on in the data for data engineering. So they can list their projects here. Let's say I work in Beam Data, right? And project 1, project 2, project 3, blah, blah, blah. So I can list here. But some people, they are a job switcher. So they switch from a different field into data engineer field. In this way, maybe they self-study the data engineer and they did some portfolio project. So in this way, it's unnecessary to link your projects with your company tightly. So you can say, let's say, experience, title, company 1, experience, blah, 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 company, title, experience 2, blah, 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 blah. You can give just a generic description about the experience. And then there is another module specially for, let's say, you have a project professional experience, then you have a new module called projects. Okay, so in your projects, you can list what you did in data engineer. Okay, so let's say project 1, data warehouse, project 2, big data, blah, blah. Try to explain that here. So in this way, when a hiring manager see this, they will see, okay, so this guy have this work experience and they also did some of these projects. Okay, otherwise you cannot put your project into your job experience, right? So if you put if you just directly link this project in your company, it's a line, right? You did not do any project for this company. But if you don't mention that, you just mention that it's self study and projects, this will give the hiring manager an impression that this guy have no experience. He just self-study and he does not have real experience. This will put in a a not very good situation. So my suggestion is just list your experience and put a separate module to list your projects. And in your projects, try to list your projects. And another thing is, in your projects, try to give various projects in your resume. Let's say project 1. I'm using AWS. I'm using pipeline, using Lambda, blah 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 blah. So you can show, or even you can give a short description about the project. Let's say a AWS pipeline project. Okay, and the second project, maybe you can say you can use, let's say, big data. Okay, so you use big data in Azure. Okay, so you can say big data in Azure project. Okay, so try to make your project cover different area of data engineer, so that this when the hiring manager read your resume, they will see, oh, okay, this guy know this guy know this. Okay, so when you are using this way, you are try to cover all the area to a very large extent. Okay. Also, regarding your resume template, okay, you can list all your projects, even some projects unrelated to data engineer, into your resume. So from let's say for myself, my resume templates will be very long because I put everything in my resume template. So let's say, I also have experience of a supply chain, right? So I even list the supply chain projects in my resume template. And when I apply for, let's say, apply for a position without any requirements for supply chain, okay, of course I won't mention any my supply chain experience. But sometimes, when I see a company, let's say they are requiring a data engineer, but they need a supply chain, I will put my supply chain experience into the projects as well. So, this just like a pool. Okay, so your resume templates is just like a pool. And every time when you generate a new resume for any specific job, you will put the relative experience into it. Okay, so in this way, you will apply for different job position with different resume. And also, of course, you need to keep this version and make yourself remember where this version link, which position is this version linked with. Okay. So let's talk about what are important factors in a resume. Let's say, for let's say this data engineer job, they really care about your project's experience. Okay, so it's very important to list your projects. Even just like I said, even your project is your own project, it's your portfolio project, you must list all your projects you did. Okay, maybe some projects is very big, some projects is small, but you make sure you list all your projects. Let's say you did an exercise, right? From online, you follow a video, and on the video from a workshop video, on the video you finish a simple pipeline. Okay, you import some data from public place, and you did some data transformation in a pipeline, and finally save data in a data lake, in your own data lake. You created the data lake at 3 bucket. You create in the AWS EC2 instance. You install the pipeline. So this is actually, you follow this exercise, you follow this video, is kind of like exercise or a mini project. You also need to list all these projects into your project module, because just like I said, first of all, pages number is not a big deal. Okay, and you need to try to use as many projects as possible to cover all the possibilities. Okay, so maybe let's say this company, they require SQL error, Apache Spark. Let's say for this company, they are requiring totally different things. Let's say Airflow, right? So, and EMR, right? Asina, Asper is different from this one, right? So you try to list all your project experience in order to cover different companies' requirements. Okay, so this is the experience I can suggest with you about how to write a resume. Okay, so because the time difference, I have another meeting in 1 p.m., so I cannot answer your questions. Please subscribe or YouTube channel. So this video will publish in the YouTube channel later on. Okay, so you can ask your question in the YouTube channel under this video, and I will try to answer your questions. Okay, so that's all about the contents today, and thanks for your watching.